Hi, I'm William Tenholder. I've been playing for over 50 years and I've played thousands of international games. I like to say that also my memory is starting playing with my father, reading chess books when I was at the age of 7. So I started very young and you get an instinct over time. So this is a great little game that shows you how to operate both sides of the board, and you can set up on the left side to serve the right side, etc. So here we go. This is a very, I think, informative game for beginners and intermediates. So I opened with the ready. The ready is a nice, it's like a counter puncher game. So it's a passive opening. They punch, I counter punch. And so this is an easy one for me to, after they put out the queen pawn, very traditional, then I oppose. Sometimes I oppose with the pawn. Uh, in this case, it's an attack by the knight, developing the two knights. I like that. And sometimes they'll do other pawn moves. This one's a passive pawn move, and it's setting up a usual setup, usually on the queen side. They set up like this. So this is kind of weak in my mind. Already I feel like I have some opportunity. What it does is it prevents my knight from coming in onto the e5 and g5 squares. So that's their purpose. We move on, and so this is an aggressive move, and they have to decide if they're going to take or do something else. So now we get into um, this formation is usually effective on the queen side. On the king side, it's a bit dicey, and we're going to see how this plays out. Okay, so this is my signature move. I like to just come out with my bishop and attack, and then see what they do. Usually the pawn comes out. In this case, that's what they do. So now they haven't developed any of their pieces. I've got 3 pieces developed. I feel like I have the advantage, and I've accomplished my mission. Now the knight on b8 cannot go to c6, and it may have to go to a different square unless they want to develop that pawn. So I'm not losing any moves here. I basically go back to a good position for the bishop. Next, they attack, which is not a big deal. Push them out with the pawn. They attack, that's fine. That knight was not going to do anything with their pawn structure, so no problem there. And I simply take to the center. Usually taking to the center is the best idea. And at the same time, this allows for the rook to maybe do something on the queen side of the deal here. So, yes, so this is what I forced with my previous bishop move. Now the knight has to move out to d7. And they may be happy with that. I'm certainly happy with that because they can't mess with my queen side. So next, castle. There's a little pause in the action, and that's the best time to castle. Now the knight has obviously a plan. Came out to the e5 square, which is starting to mess with my territory. And so it's a walking target. I just take it. And they take, opens up the F file. However, they still have to develop a little bit. That's certainly their intention. Now, I'm probably going to start to get aggressive here, and I do. So there you go. Queen checks the king, and there's no defense. There's nothing left there. You can't defend. Well, yeah, you can push the pawn. So I think that's about all you have. Let's see what they do. Yeah, they push the pawn. So next, great. Just so in case you didn't catch that, I'll go back a little bit here. And so obviously the E5 pawn was hanging. So I simply take the E5 pawn, which now I'm attacking the rook. Okay, so I've got a winning game here. Just have to steady the ship and see what they do next. So they bring out the knight. Yes, they want to develop. The king side is a mess. And, I forced that with the queen check. So next I take the pawn, further ruining their pawn structure. Pawn takes pawn. They had to do that. So now I'm in a good position. I've got the knight pinned on the rook for now. And that's a great time to stop any aggression by moving out the pawn to h3. Okay, so they're taking advantage of the file. This is really a good, brave move, and it's warranted. Let's recognize this is a good plan. They want to get active. So what do? I start to work the other side of the board. And you'll see how this comes into play. This is a grand plan right now. Moving that pawn up is a grand plan. Let's see the next moves. Okay, queen takes hold of the file. And so, yeah, I'm thinking attack. And I attack the rook. And the rook will have to move. So the rook moves. And this plays into my overall plan because now I can attack the queen. And now the queen has to move again. Okay, now the queen is getting into a trapped position, which often happens. And I start thinking, okay, how can I trap the queen? How can I checkmate the queen? Where the queen has no spaces left, and you can just pick off the queen. So after that, there's the queen trap, and check on the king. And now the black pieces are in a world of hurt, really. Next move, they bring out their bishop to protect their king. Look at that. This is all set up by that nice pawn move. Previously you saw the black bishop move out, the pawn move out, the white bishop trapping the queen, and now the queen can move to this square thanks to the pawn on a4 and the bishop on b5. So now, check, and the bishop cannot take. It is pinned. So let's see how it goes from here. This is tough for black. They protect the king with the rook. And now the bishop simply takes the bishop. And it's check. King has to move. And now it's in a bad spot. Especially since now I can simply take with my black bishop, the rook. So they've just lost most of their pieces in a few moves. And the king, I mean, you look at it and you go, maybe this is checkmate. But the king does have one square to go to. And then that's really the end of the game, because they realize this is it, it's over. So this is the way you can play the two sides of the board. This is a really good queenside attack using both of the bishops, and that pawn going up to the, originally going up to the a4 square, set up this whole attack. So that's something to take note of. Note where the rook was taking command of the b file, and it was backed up by the rook on f1. So I hope you enjoyed this. This was an awesome queenside attack. Really got my heart racing, and I'm telling you, I celebrated after this win. So yeah, happy hunting out there. Enjoy your chess.